Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Tuesday, September 26th, 11:37 p.m. My name is Jacob S. L. Harris for the Jacob, and this is for the Jacob Harris Show. So today, so I got a couple episodes kind of in the works right now. A couple, and I really like doing that monologue for y'all, so hopefully I can continue to do that. But well, not hopefully, but I'm kind of like cooking. It's in development. Let's say, you know what I mean. We got a couple of different, but I think I'm only gonna be able to record one tonight, and I had planned on recording one tomorrow and getting those out soon. So today's Tuesday, September 26th. Um, Hopefully we'll kind of like see where we end up after let's say after tomorrow. I don't even know. Like at some point, I'm downstairs. I'm in the basement. So 'cause I didn't want to make too much noise for my parents. I know they need their rest, and they swear I do too. But here we are working. You know what I mean? But I wanted to read you an essay that I wrote recently. So basically, so not basically, but coming up, um, upcoming in terms of projects. So this, I'm gonna read this article, and it's not coming out. It's not gonna come out quite with as much, let's say, gravitas or anything. You know what I mean? Because it actually is more of a story. So hopefully y'all enjoy. But this is like kind of essay I did because I was hoping to get this political project done over the summer, and I abandoned it because of the it's let's say the I'm not things did not go according to plan. I thought they would be a little bit easier. I thought there would be a little bit more goodwill toward the different organizations that I had reached out to, toward me, but and just the kind of an extending in terms of in terms of programmatic elements. But I think there's different problems that we're kind of facing, and so and I will call a spade a spade. I have no problem, but I think I'm gonna read this article that I wrote, only like 2 pages, but and I'm gonna we're gonna let some of the words speak for themselves. But I will say that I think there's a lot of I think there's a lot of I think we I think there's a lot of problems in the city. I think there's a lot of people that are sort of in the pocket of the Democratic Party, the machine that we kind of like find ourselves in, basically. Um, and I think it's wrong, because it's like there's a certain freedom of development that doesn't happen in the city. So, for example, like there's like Germantown High School was just bought. I'll show you an article, but like it wasn't it's not there's no really community control of what could Germantown High School could be. I think when it was a high school, it had great control. It had state control. It had federal control. The government controlled it, and this isn't to say I think that the state, there was a certain will toward bettering people, shown through having this, really gigantic school and then an elementary school in front of it, And that's not to say it's like, oh, everything was hunky dory at Germantown High School. It wasn't. That's part of the problem was a lackadaisical approach to education after, you know, you know, I guess Germantown became ghettoized. I would say during the after the Great Migration up north, so like after the 30s, after more not affluent, but I guess like working class folk of that era, like let's say the 1920s. So basically, like because it was a heavy Jewish population. Actually, my great uncle was in the first graduating class, and that's not to say anything against working people, people, immigrants, whatever that were coming in, working immigrants, but it became ghettoized. Germantown High School, Germantown, kind of became a ghetto. A lot of the housing, there was like redevelopment basically, and public housing. Public housing was degraded, and so a lot of the public housing that you see, and are houses that aren't, really like, you know, um, really up to the quality and standard of living that you'll find more private, like maybe $400,000 homes across the street from Germantown High School on the west, let's say, no, the south side, on the south side of Germantown. So Germantown, just to put it in perspective, Germantown is in northwest Philly, right before I'd say right before Mount Airy, and right after a nice town kind of Tioga. So up northwest, up in northwest Philly. There's little different districts and stuff like that, but it's getting, the development is I mean, it's really getting crazy. I mean, the developers are like, coming in and, they're making these really big houses, and, people are living there, for that. The rent is like generally like 2,500 a year, or excuse me, whoa, that would be a different thing. Beautiful, but it's about $2,500,000 a month. From what I've kind of gathered, that some of these homes are like, they're going for about like 225,000, 300,000, excuse me. Boils down to the same thing. So basically, not basically. So I'd say that's just like ballpark estimates, I would say. Just going off of some of the different, like estimates of property values, but some of them are going for like a $500,000. My thing about development is that, this isn't development. Like, this is housing, 2008 style, overcharging for, housing, and then hoping that the housing market will go up, crashes, what I mean, over, because you developing, it's a lopsided development, basically. You're not developing really programs for people. So like, if you wanted to, like the public library, like Coleman, for example, like there's problems with staffing. You know what I mean? Those, and then there's the different ideological movements or that you find, and, there's like the left, like leftists, come in and they want, LGBT programs, but, there's, guys that have been working there for 10, 20, 30 years, and they get, I mean, they get along to their credit. The guys that are in there and want to see, you want to see kids learn about like Malcolm X, or they want to see, they encourage kids to read, comic books, or, it's just all because, the library is like a sanctuary, basically. I know I spent a lot of time, in libraries, and I read a lot as a kid. But I so so basically with or not basically, but kind of like with development and with like you don't develop like the library. So when you shut down Germantown High School, that closed in 2013. So this is what kind of before was like got my eyes, got the sweat and other things on my eyes as a kid, But I say Similac, but I'll tell you all about it sometime. Open up about my past more so because a lot of things had happened, a lot of manipulations. You know what I mean? But so I mean that's to say on that, But I think the question in terms of development comes in. I was doing a little research on it, when I was writing this article. So I'm gonna read this to you. My energy is fading fast. I gotta get up in about approximately 4 hours, 4.5 hours to I got at work. I started working at a construction site down in Kent Square, actually. You know what I mean? Shout out my neighbor. So, um, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna see. I'm hoping my parents don't come downstairs and get upset at me for making too much noise, but we shall see. We shall see. Um, so yeah. So this one is called On Germantown High School, and honestly, so going forward, by the way, I hope this is still recording. Going forward, I want to let you know that this is not. It's not all gonna be politics, guys. We're gonna be talking about. We're gonna talk about music, right? I still got that. I'm kind of working through this Baby Keem album and kind of what I think about it. We're gonna do music. Hopefully, let me get this money right. You know what I mean? Gotta keep plugging away at these different things, and so basically we yeah. So there's just a lot of different projects coming up. You know what I mean? Working. Um, and yeah, I think yeah, we're gonna talk about anime too, guys, because like you can't escape. I mean, not escape. Anime. I mean, I think they pulling off some shit. I think they're pulling up some shit over there, guys. I think we're missing a whole bunch of shit when we say that something is automatically wrong or nerdy. I think that's what a lot of y'all learned. Y'all was clowning the anime folk. Meanwhile, y'all and then y'all fucked up because the motherfuckers that done did anime or watched anime and shit. Now y'all be like, oh wow, I didn't know it was all like that. Da, da, da. Now y'all are the anime motherfuckers late to oh, did you watch Naruto? I grew up watching Naruto. Fuck you mean? So, but I think yeah. So let's to jump right into. So this is on Germantown High School, and this is how it goes. So it begins. My name is Jacob Harris. That's before I kind of changed it. I grew up in Germantown, up the street from Germantown High School. My dad used to take me on walks around High Street, around Belfield, up a side street, up another street, along Walnut, up Baton, then back on High Street. I remember the older folks saying things to me and my sister, and my dad responding. My dad's family is Eastern European and Russian. Fled Russia, that is, to escape the Tsar. Most of the people along our walks, were black and Puerto Rican. Still, my father's responses were cheery, and the people on their porches were easygoing. Germantown is like the countryside, especially in relative to downtown. Now, Germantown High school is closed. Kids don't come through that area as much as they did. The developer bought it for $100,000, less than some houses in this area. My mom would take my sister and me up the street to Germantown High School. In front of Germantown High School, there would be these raised beds where stones, and the stones had pretty green paint on it, and we hopped from one to another, trying to keep our balance. We walked on the side of the raised beds, which were made of concrete, and we were small. My mom would be worried about us. My sister's balance wasn't as good, so mom would walk with her. She has scoliosis. That could be part of it. Her and I, my sister, that is. Her and I, we have different strengths and weaknesses. She didn't walk with me, so she didn't walk with me so much, but I think she did sometimes. Mom, that is. She didn't walk with me so much, but I think she did sometimes. She was equal with us. She treated us fairly. She's very caring, my mom. Now, now there are construction workers blocking off the front and other areas. When they aren't there, even before they got there, Germantown High School wasn't taken care of by the city when it was closed. The beautiful trees were overrun with vines. The grass was never cut. The school couldn't be used as a school, but people could definitely go in there and take out what they wanted. Pick out the meat and bones of Germantown and deface it with graffiti. The city couldn't keep the school open for a year to make it for that one extra year to make it a historic building because it closed in 2013. I won't get to that point, but it could let the city couldn't keep it open for 1 year to make it a historic building, but it could let Germantown High School decompose. Apparently, my great uncle, my father's mother's brother, was in the first graduating class. My former coworker graduated from there after she dropped out or was kicked out of Roxborough High with a teen pregnancy. Apparently, Germantown High had a program for teen pregnancies or moms to get their GEDs. She was pregnant and gave birth the same year my mom did, 1999. I had a teacher who taught me African American history, who really first exposed me to the ideas that led me here today, writing this essay for you. He taught at Germantown High School, and he thought he would one day retire from the school. He moved his family close and everything. Germantown High School was built and opened in 1914, the year of the Great War, otherwise known as the First World War. This holds an interesting comment in terms of the direction a country and history can develop. We can go the route of destruction, or we can go the route of upliftment. We can focus our nation towards war, a war which some say was about Africa, or we can improve our people through education. Countless people lived perhaps prosperously because of education, specifically the education they had at a public state-operated school. Germantown High School, was closed in 2013. In April 2019, the Germantown United CDC and the Keeping Society of Philadelphia filed a nomination authored by Oscar Beisert, architectural historian and historic preservationist, to list the building in the Philadelphia Register of Historic Places at its 691st stated meeting on March 13th, 2020. The Philadelphia Historical Commission voted unanimously to designate the building and its grounds, a status that comes with protection from alteration and demolition, as well as regulatory authority during any future redevelopment of the property. Some notable alumni include William Thaddeus Coleman Jr., fourth U.S. Secretary of Transportation, and second African American to serve in the U.S. Cabinet, the recently acquitted Bill Cosby, comedian, actor, Randy Owens, 1959 to 2015, basketball player. Archie Shepp, jazz saxophonist. Tammy Terrell, singer. Now, if y'all don't know who now this is in the article, but if y'all don't know who Tammy Terrell is, I don't know if I can help y'all. Y'all gonna be on your own for that one. You know what I mean? That's, you know, ain't no mountain high, ain't no mountain low, ain't no river wide enough, baby, to keep me from getting to you, babe. But the article continues and is almost finished. Thankfully, they cannot demolish this beautiful building because God knows that they would. The plan, however, is to turn the building into apartments. It is being developed by a developer by the name of Jack Azran. We're not exactly sure what we're dealing with, he told the local. I think this might have been, I'm not sure this is the Chestnut Hill local. I'm not sure what time. But he says, we're just getting the building cleaned up at this point. So I think he's just, probably maybe 2014, 2015, because the property was bought in 2013. 2014 would have put it at 100 years, where it would have gotten that historic designation. So this is now to quote, as the article continues, the article that I wrote, to quote the Chestnut Hill local article, the building's historic nomination turned out to be a double-edged sword. It prevented the building from being torn down, but it also cut the community out of the development process, thanks to a 2019 piece of legislation that gave zoning relief to developers of historic properties. Developers Azran and Eli Alon no longer needed a zoning variance to turn the school into apartments, so they no longer needed to work with the neighborhood RCO. So the last line of it in the article says, convenient. Where did this piece of legislation that gave zoning relief to developers come from? And there's an annotation. So when I said earlier in the article that, some say that, a war that some say was about Africa, that was, out of W.E.B. Du Bois's article. He wrote, kind of around that, I think it was maybe a couple of years after the war in 1919. Don't quote me on that one, but it's W.E.B. Du Bois's on Africa. So it's W.E.B. Du Bois on Africa's role in World War II. It's called in the Atlantic, and the article is called "The African Roots of War." And if you want to look more into Germantown High School, or if you want to look into more of the development things, you can look into the Chestnut Hill local. Google the Germantown High School, and also I would say look into Google Wikipedia. That's the best. I don't give a fuck what they said. They fucked us up in elementary school. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my French. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Excuse my French. I don't care. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but y'all know, y'all for facts 100% know that this Wikipedia stuff was great. I don't care if they don't, if they, whatever is this and that and the third. All of those are, some of those articles are better sourced articles than the ones that you read in the daily whatever, I don't know, fucking UPenn's academic article, journal, whatever. I don't really even care because it's just silly. They're just like, oh, gender, which is if that's what y'all want to spend y'all time thinking and debating about, that's fine. I'm gonna Wikipedia Germantown High School and learn about its gentrification. Everybody makes choices, you know what I mean, as to how they want to live their lives, you know what I mean. But, and everybody has to pay for those choices. So, sometimes that's a beautiful thing. But anyway, so that's the video for today, or the podcast for today. My goal by the end of, so I guess we're starting the week on, no, we're not starting the week on Wednesday, but my goal by the next Wednesday is to have one more video that's scripted one video where I kind of talk about, or it's not scripted, talk about like this, this album, Baby Keem. I'm hoping to get one, the poetry and reflections, that's going to be a little bit more. And, maybe one news on the news, because my phone is broken. So I'm so out of the loop on things. Like, I'm like, so like, it's crazy. I'm like, what? They did what? You know what I mean? I don't even know about this cyclone that's going on. I can only kind of infer, you know what I mean? But I like it. I mean, it's a challenge to be certain. But I'm not eager to not have a phone right now. But it's definitely, it comes with its set of challenges. But I like it. I like it for the most part. I'm really appreciating like the rain. Like, wow, like have y'all ever felt that rain before? Like, it's beautiful. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you get yourself into trouble, you find out kind of like who's in your corner, and you realize that at the end of the day, you got you. You know what I mean? And other people, they kind of can do the best that they can, and they can say they can do the best they can too. You know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, you gotta survive. But you also have to like do the best that you can do is to challenge the society. not even to say that that's the best you can do, but society has kind of talk about Baldwin a little bit because he's been on my mind. James Baldwin. He had said that by the time when you grow like when you're born, society's outside of you. By the time you grow up, society is in you, he says. I think this was in his conversation with Nikki Giovanni. And so the whole thing with that is that, society, as well as its structures, you know what I mean? That the buildings that we built for work, you know what I mean? It's not only that, it is the fact that we uphold the morality and ideas of the society. You know what I mean? So, and like the logical patterns, the laws, the moral laws that lead to the laws of the historical laws of development. Abstractly. I mean, to put it in, the American terms, I would say that we kind of like we put ourselves in a we put ourselves into a we got a little bit of troubles of difficulties. You know what I mean? We're kind of like we keep allowing, I would say, the same thing to happen, or we allow at base we allow for young people to like kill themselves, or we allow them to kill each other. When I say young, I'm 24. These young people are killing themselves at 18, like and killing each other, and running, and trapping whatever, you know what I mean? They 12, 13, 14, you know what I mean? They're young. And well, that was our choice as a society. We said that was okay because we allowed it to happen. Our silence murdered them. And we allow, our silence bought Germantown, and Germantown High, bought our silence. You know what I mean? Letting that go. And so that was long. That was a long battle. Every day we should have showed up, but we didn't. That's what happened. I mean, it got sold to developers because why? Because we allowed it. We're allowing it every day by allowing corrupt officials and corrupt people that are taking money. You know what I mean? People that are allowing we're basically letting we're basically letting guys people who don't care, who sold drugs to the community, you know what I mean, or killed people in the community, you know what I mean, or putting people down in the community. We let them dictate our actions. I mean, case in point, I mean, we're letting people that like take advantage. Like that's the popular culture. People take advantage. Whatever run phase, whatever we're allowing ourselves to be fed the images, fed the food that they want to feed us. You know what I mean? But we're still putting it in our mouths. We're still putting it in our ears. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the reason why society is the way it is because we haven't, you know, done our part. I mean, have you asked your neighbor how they're doing today? I thought it was love thy neighbor though. That's where I get a little frustrated, but it gets to be a tough time. It gets to be tough times. It gets to be tough times. I gotta open up to y'all about the different things that have happened to me because my anger it seems so sudden, but it's not. Just like my mom and dad. That's my sister. You know, ask some of Rex's. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. This isn't out of the blue. So, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been. We looked around and society has murdered countless of my friends and continues to murder countless of my friends, countless of my fellow countrymen. For what? To make more money. Okay. Did it did it save you in the end? I mean, Kanye West said $100 million home, never went home to it. You know what I mean? So, case in point. Yeah, so I'm going to read that the next article that I'm going to read is going to be about Reverend James Lawson. It's a very, very interesting story behind him. I did this article in 2021. So this was right during, I guess, coronavirus, the bounce back of it. That has drastically destroyed the direction of America, I think. But it accelerated some of the problems that we're already dealing with, and I think maybe we tried to get our little get back, but now it's almost 2024. You know what I mean? It's been almost 3 years, and people are still bringing up coronavirus. You know what I mean? So it's another national tragedy. That if we had put proper funding toward it, if there was proper transparency as to what was going on, the crisis could have been avoided. But another day. So I'm excited to kind of continue. I think James Lawson will be helpful, especially going forward, because it's like, well, how do we begin to solve these problems? You know what I mean? And I think, or what can we do? And I think James Lawson provides a pretty good method. I mean, he was a Methodist minister, during that time. So it's like, well, how do you do it? You know what I mean? How do you sacrifice? But it's easy. Just don't do it. You know what I mean? Or do something that you don't do. But like always, I want y'all to, do something. Even though I'm angry, really it's better than if not feeling nothing. You know what I mean? Or not caring. I prefer my anger at, people or myself, or anger at society, I prefer that over over not caring or not feeling. I would choose to feel maybe one time as opposed to never feeling at all. Or to quote The Weeknd, would you rather love and lost a tear and never love at all? Would you rather love and lost a tear than never loved, would you rather loved and lost than never loved at all? So, good night, folks. It's Wednesday. Now it's Wednesday, September 27th, 12 to 11. and or 12:11 a.m. I get 4 hours of sleep, but I'm gonna get to this work because I need to get me some bread. And yeah, like I said, like I want y'all to continue to do, even though I'm angry. I think we're on the path to making myself happy. I think what would make me happy is if the whole world was happy. You know what I mean? But so P.S. I think that China should, we should sign on to the Belt and Road Initiative. Philadelphia, I would suggest. I would suggest, but we also gotta, upgrade our water travel. I think that's going to be a pretty important next step to development. Yeah. So do one thing that makes you happy today, and do one thing. And see what happens. See what happens, especially with the happy thing, because what you think might make you happy might not make you as happy, but what you didn't think what you thought was never ever gonna probably never ever gonna make you happy. That might have made you happiest. You know what I mean? You never know. I think it's a daily process, and so there's that. And I would say, tell the truth one time today and see what happens. I mean, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God type shit. Type shit. That's how they be saying it. But and finally, I would say ask somebody how they're doing. Cause you never really, and truly try to find out. Cause come on, good, you're good. All right. So you started off lying, like not to say that, but that's just it. That's it. That's how you're doing. I'm doing good. What does that mean, even? Like, I'm doing good. Have you ever thought about that? That sense, like, how are you doing? Are you doing good? Anyway, I hope everybody gets good rest, and that everybody is prepared, to continue making life better for themselves and others. Whether it be taking your dog out. That's the fire alarm. Whether it be taking your dog out for a walk or, recreating this world in your image, or recreating this society in an image, that is of your wildest dreams, but might be the daily bread of your grandkids. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would beg you to tell me that what I said was wrong or that you disagree, and help me understand something that I don't understand. So thank you so much if y'all listening to to my little love letters, to y'all. So I hope I can continue. You know what I mean? Every day I draw breath is a beautiful day. And I hope that I hope everybody feels similarly. And if y'all don't feel similarly, I hope y'all learn, because y'all don't know shit, clearly. So, thank y'all for the help, and thank you for listening. This is Jacob S. This is Jacob L. Harris. Jacob S. L. Harris. Signing off for the night. God damn it. Signing off for the night. Love y'all. Okay. Peace.